I came at a bad time.
No. I think you couldn't have timed it better.
I have been playing Honkai Star Rail since May 2nd of 2023. Ever since then, I have been having a blast. At first, I would go into this only wanting to get Zila, not aware of her power creep, and also not aware of how much I would like the game after I got her. That aside, I have also accumulated tons of techniques, methods, and tips while playing this game. Some may be obvious to others, while some may not have considered these ideas their first time playing around. Anyways, you're here for the full guide on how to start this game, and progress the game, and I'm here to provide that to you. This video timeline is my longest as of this date, so stay tuned till the end. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe, and without further ado, let's get into the video. Starting the game is simple. You start off with a cutscene where the space station is under attack, and after this, you're prompted into another cutscene after a little bit more dialogue. After this dialogue, the cutscene plays and you are put into combat, where it teaches you the basics of the game, and how the fighting mechanics work. Here's how it works, in full detail. In combat, you have 3 options. These options are your basic attack, your skill, and your ultimate. These are all different depending on the character, and the path they decide, and the element the character has. A basic attack isn't usually meant to do that much damage, but that could be different depending on the character that you use. The skill and the ultimate are what really makes most of the characters. The skill has some sort of special ability to boost the character, the team, or debuff the other team. The ultimate is the powerhouse of damage for the character, or the overwhelming support for the character's team. The other things to consider are the stats and other factors that affect battle. Speed is a big one. Speed can be increased or decreased by weakness break, debuffing, buffing, and relics. Speed is the thing that determines who acts first in the turn wheel. One of the factors that affects speed, which is weakness break, is the ability to cripple the enemy for a short period of time to get more damage out, to add damage over time, and to decrease their defense. The thing that determines a weakness break's probability is what you're doing to decrease the enemy's guard. You see, there's a bar above all enemies that determines their guard. Some enemies have more guard than others depending on their enemy class. Small enemies have a weakness break that can be broken by a basic attack. Normal enemies would likely require a skill to break their weakness. Stronger enemies would require an ultimate to break their guard, and bosses just take a while for their guard to break. The debuff that the enemy receives depends on the element. The physical element inflicts bleed, the fire element inflicts burn, the ice element inflicts freeze, which delays the enemy's turn for 1 extra turn. Lightning inflicts shock, wind inflicts wind shear, quantum inflicts entanglement, which increases in damage depending on the hits taken, limiting to 5 extra hits, and imaginary inflicts imprisonment, which delays the enemy's turn by an extra amount by reducing the enemy's speed. Weakness break efficiency can increase depending on the scenario. If you use certain relics or relics with certain substats, you can increase the weakness break efficiency on your moves. If you're in Similar Universe, we'll get to that later, you'll be able to select buffs to increase weakness break. Keep in mind that certain elements won't be able to affect certain enemies, unless you have a character like Silverwolf or another scenario where the enemies are given a weakness. Also keep in mind that if none of the elements that you are using are on the enemy's weakness bar, the enemy may be much harder to deal damage to. Now that you know how combat works, now let's talk about how to trigger it. One way to trigger combat is by ambushing an enemy. Ambushing an enemy typically gives you a head start in battle. Attacking one of the enemy fleet's weaknesses is how you can make things even easier. If you fail to attack the enemy and they notice you, then the enemy would ambush you and advance their own turn. Techniques are a way to enhance you before combat. These techniques usually help you or harm the enemy. Techniques are limited to how many technique points you currently have. If you have 0 technique points, you can't use techniques. Techniques are regenerated by hitting purple crystals hidden around the map. These crystals do respawn after you break them, however it takes a bit. You could also use consumables, and I have not used a consumable since day one. Another way of triggering combat is by chance. Some parts of dialogue, the end of a cutscene, and random occurrences can also trigger combat. The way you build your team is based on what their role is. For a full explanation on team building, refer to my team building video, but for now let's stick with this summary. There are 5 roles for characters: DPS, Support, Shielder, Healer, and Sustainer. Now, some people might be saying, oh, but healers and shielders are sustainers. Sustainers are guaranteed to keep the team alive, while healers need shielders to have the same effect. Plus, sustainers allow you to have 2 damage increasers on the team. Anyways, let's talk about what these characters do. DPS units are what make your damage on your team, dealing big numbers to wipe out enemies. Support units use some sort of method to buff you so your DPS can perform better, or debuff the enemy to make it harder on the enemy to defend or attack, and easier for your team to defend or attack. Shielders spawn shields on characters to absorb damage and make damage harder to receive. Healers restore some of, or all of, your health to heal you of the damage you've taken. Finally, sustainers do what healers and shielders do to keep your team alive, while also allowing you to have more than one support or debuffer on your team at once, while pretty much not doing anything to your team's efficiency. If you wish to know how to completely boost a team, also refer to the team building video I've made. There are a few things to note. When you're in combat, the enemy's level and yours are what usually determines how easy a fight will be. Low levels make things harder with high level enemies, and high level enemies make things harder for low level units. Vice versa, blah blah blah. Light cones, relics, and levels in general are what determine how easy combat will be. Wow, who would have thought? Your level cap increases with your equilibrium. I'll explain that later as well. Ultimates can be used during an enemy's turn as a way of acting quickly. You can also use an ultimate right after using a skill. Trotters can appear in battle if you are killing something around the map. The Trotters give extra rewards. One last thing, there are 4 types of attack. Single target attacks deal with 1 enemy or ally. Blast attacks deal with 1 enemy or ally with additional smaller damage and 2 other enemy or allies with slightly less damage. Bounce attacks attack random enemy or allies, and AoE attacks all enemy and allies on the field. The reason why I say enemy and ally, like either or, is because every type of attack does one of these type of damage types. As in, like, an enemy can do one of these as well. Now that that's out the way, let's finish this introduction. As Kafka snatches the Stellaron from her to space station, she gives us the option to choose between Stel and Kalis. It really doesn't matter what you choose, but I personally went with Kalis since I'm a dude myself. Other people, like, pretty much everyone went with Stel, but, you know. Spoiler warning for those who don't want to know. At this point, you have chosen your character and hopefully you weren't influenced by the internet to choose Stel against your will. Please choose whatever character you want. Anyways, now you are at the point where you have selected your character. You will now meet your companions along with fighting a cyber centaur and a giant dragon. You will also explode in the process. That was a long introduction. Now it's about time we talk about the gacha system. Here is how the banners work. There's an extra banner when you start the game in which if you get 50 pulls on that banner, you will be guaranteed a 5-star character. If you get a 5-star character before you get the 50 pulls, then it just disappears. But normally there are 5 or 4 banners. The 2 promo units and the 2 promo icons, or the 1 promo unit and the promo icon. And there's also one other banner called the standard banner. The gacha system works like this. You have a chance within 1 pull to pull a 3-star Lycon, a 4-star unit or Lycon, and a 5-star unit or Lycon. You are guaranteed 1 4-star Lycon or character every 10 pulls you do. And any pull you do, you get some sort of currency every single time you make a pull, which can be used in exchanges. The Ember Exchange and the Starlight Exchange. Using Undying Embers, you can buy special passes and regular passes along with level materials. In the Starlight Exchange, you can exchange Undying Starlight for special passes, regular passes, 4-star characters, and 5-star Lycons. There are shop resets like every so often. Undying Embers are attained only through 3-star pulls, and Undying Starlight through 4-star and 5-star pulls. The amount of Undying Starlight you get depends on if you have Eidolons maxed out, or what type of character you pulled. If you pull a 4-star, you'll get more Undying Starlight, and if you get a 5-star, you'll get more Undying Starlight, depending on the Eidolons. And also depending on the star rating of the character. You're probably wondering, what do I buy in these shops? And when do I buy them? Here's how you should be using those stores. Do not use the Sailor Jade Exchange or the Starlight Exchange to buy regular passes. When the Ember Exchange, if your monthly special and regular Starlight passes are available, prioritize buying the special passes first and then buy the normal ones. This is the only shop where you will be buying normal passes and special passes at the same time. The reason you don't want to put priority into buying the regular passes is because you get them a lot over time through a lot of sources playing the game, and it's less efficient when trying to get a promo unit. Aside from that, here's how rolling works for the banner. Now, every single time you pull on the banner, there's a small chance that you can get a 5-star character. Every 90 pulls, you are guaranteed a 5-star character if you're in the promo banner, a 5-star light code if you're in a promo light code banner, or both if you're in the standard banner. When pulling a promo character, there is a 50-50 chance of getting the standard banner character 5-star, and not the promo unit. But, you will have a guaranteed chance if you go for them again after failing that 50-50. 99% sure that a 5-star light code banners too, but some say that the rates are different. And I never really roll on light code banners, you shouldn't either, there's just cheaper options out there if you're free to play. After a promo unit leaves and you didn't get them, your pity from the last banner transfers over to the next banner. So if you were at 41 pity, the next banner, you will only need 49 pity to get your 5-star character pull. Two more things to keep in mind. There's an option in the standard banner to get a free character. This requires 300 standard banner pulls and only disappears after you claim it at 300 standard banner pulls. Finally, 4-star characters that are promoted in the promo banner have a higher chance of being pulled than others, and if that 4-star is new, then it will transfer over to the standard banner the next time a new promo banner rolls in. When you're at this point in the game, you have made it to Belobog, the city of preservation, as literally said in the goddamn subtitles down below. Anyways, you're probably wondering how your characters really work by now, and I'm going to explain all of that to you in a few seconds. In Honkai Star Rail, characters follow these beings called Aeons. There's 7 usable paths in main game, but Simulated Universe likes to get deeper into the Aeons when you play the game. Anyways, here's the rundown. Destruction, strong blast damage DPS. The Hunt, strong single target DPS. Erudition, AoE focus DPS. Harmony, enhanced focus skill and ultimate. Nihility, debuff focused attacks. Preservation, shield focused protection. And Abundance, heal based protection. These paths can be weird sometimes. Some Abundance characters do the job of preservation characters, some Nihility characters can be DPS, some Hunt characters can be debuffers, etc. There's many options with some of these characters, some good while some better. Some are also god-awful. I'm talking to you, Arlen. The way you go about the game depends on where you're at. If you've completed Belobog, you've most likely gotten a 5-star unit, and you're on the way to the Zanjo to get better at the game, or explore the game's story. But once you complete the story, the events, etc., there's some unfinished business in Herta Space Station. That being, Simulated Universe. Here's a basic rundown. Simulated Universe is found in Herta's office in Herta Space Station. It can also be found in your survival index, which is the arrow icon in your peace guide thingy. Anyways, when you enter the Simulated Universe, you will get a tutorial or two on how the game works. It might feel confusing at first, but I'm here to help. In Simulated Universe, you get a chance to play around with units and unlock their full potential that is unreachable in main game, whether it's high damage numbers or the stupidest build on the worst characters. When you enter the Simulated Universe, you might be greeted by this tab here. Don't worry about that. It's just a separate tab for some of Simulated Universe's endgame content. you will want to go to the regular tab to be greeted by your worlds. Here's how these worlds work. There are currently 8 worlds as of when I'm making this video, so bear with me here. In World 1, it's just basic Singing Universe, but as you go along you unlock more blessings and unlock path residents. If you get 3 blessings for a current path that you decide to run, you get an extra skill that can boost your team or debuff the enemy in some way. You unlock more paths as you play through the Singing Universe, and some of these other paths like Elation or Propagation are locked behind completion of Singing Universe's endgame content. Anyways, as you progress you also notice worlds with higher difficulties. These give higher rewards and better rarity Planner Sphere and Link Rope relics for your characters. There is also a chance of getting special currencies besides Stellar Jades. These are called Hertabonds. Hertabonds are used to get light cones that are Singing Universe only. These light cones are some of the best you can obtain since they're 5-star and can get superimposed without having to buy copies. The way I worded it was weird, but you can actually use these in main game, just for you guys who got confused with what I said here. So you can use them in main game. It's not only Singing Universe you can use them in. It is only Singing Universe that you can get them from. If you get all the light cones or just one pulse, there is also Star Rail passes you can buy. Besides that, there is also a skill tree to make things easier for your future runs. An index which you can look at to see which blessings you unlock while also earning Stellar Jades, and a weekly counter to keep you interested in Singing Universe. There are some things to note here. One being is that there is not the best path in Singing Universe. This means that some paths can be better than others at certain times, but towards the end it all comes down to what your team is at the time and how you can build around that team to make them shine the best. One more thing, the weekly counter resets every Monday on Honkai Star Rail server reset time. This weekly point requirement depends on where you are in the game. For me it's 14k because I pretty much beat most of Singing Universe's endgame content already. One other thing to keep in mind, do things at your own pace. If you can't beat something right now, try leveling up and just do it later. It's just how the game is. Now that we've reached this point in the video, it's time to talk about the rest of the shit that's in the game. This shit is stuff in the game that's just like basic, stuff that you will see in the game every day, stuff that you will deal with in the game every day, and stuff that you will have to do in the game every day. Or occasionally, depending on where you are at the game or what you need. You will start with the energy feature in this game. Remember that survival index? That is the hotspot for every energy related thing in Honkai Star Rail. Calyxes, stagnant shadows, caverns of corrosion, you name it. Currently, as of when I'm making this, you have 240 Trailblaze energy maximum that you can obtain. You get 1 energy every 5 minutes inside or outside the game. If you max out your energy, you will have to wait 18 minutes for 1 energy in the power reserve to obtain. The Trailblaze power reserve maxes out at 2,400 reserve Trailblaze power. At that point, you cannot gain any more Trailblaze power unless you use your power in the reserve. Energy can be used for basic leveling needs, weekly bosses, and relic grinding. Each thing costs more than the other. Calyxes can use up to 60 power if you want to do 6 Calyxes, but it costs 10 power to do 1. Stagnant Shadows and Echoes of War requires 30 energy, and Caverns of Corrosion along with Planner Ornaments Obtainment costs 40 points to complete. If you have an Immersifier, you can make 1 free Relic Gamble at the price of 0 energy. That is for the Planner Ornaments. Energy can also be traded for Immersifiers if you want to get some on the spot. Energy can be given back to you depending on the situation. If you leave a Calyx before the last battle, you get power back depending on where you're at. If you leave a Stagnant Shadow early, you get energy back for that as well. Same for Caverns of Corrosion. Basically, if you change your mind or you want to do something later, just leave. You won't be costed for something you haven't completed yet. The higher the level you are in this stage, the more better rewards that you get. Well, wow, I said that terribly. Higher levels in these stages give better tier rewards, which means the higher the difficulty is, the better those rewards are. But the difficulty also spikes as well, which means the enemies are going to be harder. This has to do with your equilibrium level, which is obtained through leveling up your Trailblaze level. The current max level as of now in Honkai Star Rail is level 70. Trials of Equilibrium occur during levels 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and 65, which can be used to make these rewards better. If you are max level, EXP is converted to credits. Please keep in mind that you also can buy energy using Jade. Take it from... Wow. God damn it! You can also buy energies using Jades. Please keep in mind that, take it from me, it's a terrible idea. Just wait for fuels to get power instantly if you want power instantly. You get 60 energy each fuel tank and it costs 0 jades in return. You might not get fuels as much, but it's really just the better alternative. Now here's a problem you might have. As you reach the current end of the story in Honkai Star Road, you are greeted with a message that says to wait for more to release. While waiting, there are some things you can do. Those being, completing the rest of Singing Universe's world difficulties, doing the rest of Base Forgotten Hall to unlock Memory of Chaos, maxing out your level, building new characters, and doing other sorts of endgame content. Once you reach this point in the game, you run out of options very slowly. You complete your events very quickly, and once you do, you have nothing to do but wait. And, honestly, that's okay. Really, it is. When you finish most of the early game and mid-game stuff, the endgame is where you start to think the most. And before that, you have to create the best characters imaginable, just so you can complete that stuff. All those builds and stuff require a lot of work, and as you progress, you're taught how to do that. Whether it be grinding relics, making characters higher level, stuff like that. All you have to do now is apply that knowledge to the end of the game. If you're a casual player, well, now you can wait for the banner you want to happen the most, while also having a great team that can help you complete the requirements to obtain these shades that you need for special passes. If you're a player like me, who wants to beat the entirety of the game and be one of the best players, well, it's about time to get grinding. But one thing I appreciate the most is that no matter how hard the game is, no matter how much it challenges you, kicks your ass and kicks you to the floor, that sense of completion, it keeps you occupied and also has a great fun sense of completion once you beat something you've been waiting to beat, or get a character you were trying to pull. That feeling is one of the best feelings in the world, that sense that you've accomplished something. It just makes you feel good, especially in this game if you like it a lot. Now that certainly was a video. This video took me almost a whole month to complete. It took from the 2nd of December till now, and I had not many opportunities to make this video, so yeah, there's that. Anyways, I hope this was helpful to anyone out there that needed it. If you enjoyed, please demolish the like and subscribe button to show that this video was worth it to make. More videos are on the way, and so will many more in the future, so on that note, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!